Hello everyone and welcome to Gamers Conclave. We are back with some more Battleborn builds for you guys. This is episode 4 and will feature ISIC. This is our Genocide.Exe build. Don't really have anything else to add to the intro on this one, so let's just jump right in. Alright, now before we get started on the murder train, there's a couple things I did want to talk about regarding ISIC. I do feel like ISIC was the victim of some pretty harsh nerfs. He's not quite as crippled as Eldragon, but they reduced the strength of rotating wards by 50%. Omega Strike used to be indefinite unless he was killed or stunned. Now it's only 40 seconds, and you can still be stunned out of it, which I think is quite ridiculous. They also nerfed his health, even though he's a tank. Now, I don't think that, there's definitely some things they could rework. I do think that the rotating wards were a little powerful, but there's this big problem that Gearbox has, and it's, instead of actually balancing something, they either take a huge step in one direction or the opposite direction. I really think they should Google what the word balance means, because I don't think they understand what it means. Eldragon is a perfect example. I think they had some data they were pulling showing that the few people that were great with Eldragon were dominating with them. Or maybe there was just a small vocal minority complaining about him because they would see a few people, pre-nerf that he was just, incredible. And I only found that Eldragon was good in the right hands. Instead, they just nerfed the guy into the ground. Same thing they did with some of ISIC's abilities here. However, I don't think ISIC is quite as crippled as Eldragon. He still has some useful skills. Alright, so let's get this thing rolling. ISIC is listed as a tank, disruptor, and complex. I don't think he's very complex. You just need to understand overcharge, and it's really quite simple. Firing your weapon will charge ISIC. You'll build stacks of charge. Once you get to your max charge, you're overcharged. And all you have to do to build this is just hold down the fire button. Whenever you release the fire button, you will consume all charges and deal more damage with one powerful shot. Just immediately start holding down the fire button again, and you'll get the same effect. Whenever you pop your skills while you're overcharged, they are stronger. So for skill 1, we have rotating wards. You're going to pop a ward around ISIC and absorb damage. As you can see, if you don't activate your ward, the thing's only going to absorb 56 damage. That's nothing. So you want to make sure that you have your overcharge ability procced, and you want to pop ward. Plasma Dash is just a teleport. You're going to activate the skill. It's going to put a little icon on the map for you. Wherever you pop the skill and wherever your icon's aimed, you'll just teleport to that location. You'll deal damage to anything you touch along the way. And then his ultimate, Omega Strike. Omega Strike used to be amazing. It's still good. It still does a ton of damage. But I think the fact that it only lasts 40 seconds and you can still, any kind of stun, Wrath's knockup, Ghalt's chain, a butterfly turret, anything will knock you out of it. It's just quite ridiculous. So, if they're going to keep it with the 40-second cooldown, I'm cool with that. I think they need to get rid of the fact that you can get, stunned out of it. I don't think that that's fair. Make sure you have overcharge procced when activating it so you can get a really nice overshield. Alright, that's it for the abilities. Let's jump into the helix. Alright, at level 1, we have 3 options here. We have Watchful Wards on the left, Whoops-a-Daisy in the mid, and on the right, we have Crushing Those Shields. Alright, we're going to take a look at each skill, and then we're going to let you know what we go with. So let's take a look. Alright, here's the Watchful Wards. Ow. It's going to give you a reduction on your shield recharge delay. Alright, Whoops-a-Daisy. You can actually place the wards whenever you activate the skill. And then the shield penetration here. It's kind of hard to see. We did the best we could. Alright. Now for level 1, we're going to take Whoops-a-Daisy. Rotating wards drop in place when activated rather than following ISIC around. I never see anyone take this skill, and I think it actually has some nice utility to it. In Overgrowth, you can go to the mid and you can drop it, you can teleport around, you can drop it and just back up. You can drop it to protect an ally. I think it just gives ISIC some more utility, and you can still drop the wards and stand in the center and absorb damage like before. It's still nice to have it and to run around with it. I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made. For our build, we're going to take Whoops-a-Daisy in the center. At level 2, on the left, we have you drop these. And on the right, we have this might sting a little. Let's take a look at each skill. Alright, you see you drop these. It's going to return enemy fire. It is very, very effective. You can see it even returned Oscar's grenade. And then this might sting. Alright, we're definitely going to go with you drop these, and rotating wards will reflect enemy fire. I want so much for this might sting to be useful. I mean, it's useful in story missions. I mean, people avoid it in PvE. I'm sorry, in PvP. The only way I feel like you could be creative with it is with Whoops-a-Daisy, and if you like sneak behind someone and drop it, and they step into it, that would be cool. But it's also going to get rid of the ability to block inbound damage, so we're going to go with you drop these. That's going to return enemy fire. That's a very powerful ability. Alright, at level 3, we have another 3 options here. We have Not Die Today on the left. We have Shields Down, Charge Up in the mid. And then we have Charging on the Go on the right. Let's take a look at each skill. Alright, Not Dying Today. Very simple. Alright, Shields Down, Charge Up. Become overcharged after we use the shield. And no loss on movement speed when you're charging. Charging on the go. Alright, this one's very hard. The one in the center, I don't think it's that good. I mean, there's an argument that can be made for it. However, it's not that difficult to take overcharge. I mean, it's not that difficult to get overcharge, so I think losing the skill, taking that skill, you lose out on the other 2 options. For our build, we're gonna go with Not Dying Today because we're gonna build. This is gonna go nicely with some skill, with some of the gear that we have to make ISIC more tanky. But another really good option is not being slowed down by charging. Whenever you start charging your cannon and fire, you do suffer some movement speed. Charging on the go is a good option for that. But for our build, we're gonna take Not Dying Today. All right, at level 4, we have Hold It Right There on the left, and on the right we have Line Up Fellas. Let's take a look. All right, here's that awful 1-second stun. And then Line Up Fellas. We tried to show this as best we could. The way this skill works, obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. The more enemies you hit, the stronger damage you deal with your plasma dash. Alright, now this one used to be straightforward. It used to be hold it right there. Why wouldn't you want a stun? Well, see, it used to be a 2-second stun. Now it's a 1-second stun. I find that whenever you use this and you hit somebody with it, by the time you turn around, they're gone. I mean, you could slow them for a second, but why? I say take Line Up Fellas. It's going to help with your wave clear, especially on Overgrowth where everything kind of gets combined in the mid. And you're not really going to use this thing for a damage anyway. It's more of an escape, but why not take it for the additional damage and get some extra wave clear utility with ISIC? So we're going to take Line Up Fellas on the right at level 4. At level 5, we have another 3 options. We have I'm Concentrating on the left. We have Stopping Power in the mid. And we have In a Big Rush on the right. Okay, now this one is a little difficult. It's hard to decide which one to pick. Let's take a look at each skill. Alright, I'm Concentrating. It's going to increase the strength of your shield regeneration. Stopping Power, it's going to wound El Dragon, so he's not going to take as much health. And then the increased movement speed while you're overcharged. Now, stopping power is out. It used to be in because it used to be a slow. Your overcharged shots would slow enemies. Now it just wounds them. So that's out. We have I'm concentrating on the left or in a big rush on the right. The extra movement speed when you're overcharged is fantastic. However, the extreme shield recharge rate while you're overcharged is also incredible. So, for our build to help with the tankiness of ISIC, we're going to go with I'm concentrating on the left. Alright, at level 6 we have Let's Hug It Out on the right and Broilior Wards on the left. I'm sorry if I'm saying that. Burlier Wards on the left. There we go. Sorry, that was so hard to get out. This one's a no-brainer, but let's go ahead and take a look. Burlier Wards on the left, increasing the block strength. Let's Hug It Out on the right, 20% cooldown reduction. Alright, we're going to take Burlier Wards on the left and increase that ward strength. You don't really need Plasma Dash. As I said, Plasma Dash is just an escape mainly, and you're going to use it for some wave clear once you get up to level 4. So let's move on to level 7. We have another 3 options here. We have Bring It On the left. We have I'm Helping in the mid. And then on the right, we have Quick Charge. Let's take a look at each one. Bring It On the left, increasing the block strength before and after. Alright, this is with the skill on. Increase weapon damage, I'm Helping in the Mutation. Quick Charge on the right. Gonna reduce the time it takes to reach overcharge. Alrighty. So for this, we're going to take Quick Charge. Having the reduced time for the charge up so you get your skills off quicker is so much more useful, I think, than the other 2 options. Even though the other 2 options are both really good. The increased weapon damage as well as Bring It On, the increased blocking damage of Energy Aegis. Both those skills are awesome. However, my reasoning for not taking the increased damage blocking is I use Energy Aegis as a last resort, and usually I'll get out of there with Plasma Dash. I try to use my wards to do the most of my tanking for me, so it's a toss-up between the weapon damage and the weapon charge time, the reduced time required to charge up. So we're going to go with that just because it's more useful. You want to stay charged more to get more out of your skills, so go with Quick Charge on the right. Let's move on to level 8. Alright, we have 2 options here. We have Hard Work and Wards on the left and Waste Not, Want Not on the right. Let's take a look. Alright, Hard Work and Wards on the left. Increase their duration. Waste Not, Want Not on the right.
Make you pay, ISIC.
Gonna increase the cooldown time. Alright, 17 seconds before. Now this is with the cooldown.
Look, fellas, science.
9 seconds. Alrighty, this one's kind of a toss-up. Having the extra 6 seconds is fantastic. However, if you find that people are ignoring your wards and they're not really getting shot at, and you could use the extra cooldown. Why not go with the cooldown? The 50% cooldown is massive. But I find that most of the time people are going to fire at them, so I go with the increased duration, and that's what we're going to go with for our build. Moving on to level 9, we have Can't Run From Me on the left and Dodge This on the right. Let's take a look at each one. Both of these skills are self-explanatory. Increase the range of Plasma Dash. and increase the area of effect radius.
Plasma Dash!
Alright, for our build, as I mentioned before, Plasma Dash is mainly just an escape. So we're going to go with Can't Run For Me on the left and get the increased speed as well as the increased range. Let's move on to level 10. Alright guys, we have 3 options here. We have Shields Up on the left, Slow Down Fella in the mid, and It's Raining Death on the right. Let's take a look at each one. Alright, now for the old ISIC, I would have said go with Shields Up because the increased damage blocking is just fantastic, and the fact that it would redeploy after 6 seconds is great. However, since the thing only lasts 40 seconds and there's a good chance that you're going to get stunned out of it, it's between Slow Down Fella and It's Raining Death on the right. Shields Up on your ultimate is going to block 1,000 damage and then respawn after 6 seconds. Slow Down Fella.
You're on your way.
It's going to apply a slow on the turns.
Have a great trip.
And It's Raining Death.
Lazy afternoon.
It's going to apply missile strikes.
Oh, my job.
Look at that. Awesome. Alrighty, we're going to go with It's Raining Death for our build. It's just such a cool skill. It's really cool seeing the barrage of missiles. The slow is also a very viable option as well. So if you don't like the missiles, go with the slow. But for our build, we're going with It's Raining Death. And not only does it do a good bit of damage, I mean, come on. The name of the skill is It's Raining Death. I don't know why you wouldn't take that ability. Alright guys, let's check out the gear now. Alright, so the gear for ISIC for us is pretty straightforward. We're going to do what we can to get a little bit more damage with ISIC and to get a little bit more tanky. So we're going to go with the shield battery. We're going to go with the Lorraine skill spike just because I find that the extra damage on a Mega Strike is just awesome. And as well as getting the extra damage on Plasma Dash, might as well. Again, you're only going to really use that for wave clear and escapes. But Symbiotic Gauntlet is a really cool skill. You're going to try to stay at maximum health as much as possible. So getting almost, getting 16% increased attack damage on one item is just fantastic. So try to find the Symbiotic Gauntlet. I think it goes great with ISIC. If not, just any other kind of attack damage buff or something that will buff guys at ISIC's maximum health is another really good option. Or some cooldown reduction gear. Alright guys, that's it for ISIC. I hope you guys liked the build, and I hope you guys stay tuned for some more great episodes from us. If you like this, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe and share this video with your friends.